The Unbreakable Spirit, a true story of resilience, grit, and triumph. Chapter 1. The Fall. Nathan Carter had always been a dreamer. As a child, he would sit on the rooftop of his parents' tiny apartment, staring at the city skyline, promising himself that one day he'd build something that mattered. He wasn't born into privilege. His father was a construction worker who spent his days breaking his back under the scorching sun, and his mother worked 2 shifts at a diner just to keep food on the table. But Nathan never saw their struggles as limitations. He saw them as lessons. "You don't get to choose where you start, son," his father would always say, "but you damn well get to choose where you finish." Nathan carried those words with him, through high school, through college, through every sleepless night he spent chasing his dream. By the time he was 28, he had done the impossible. He built a startup from scratch. Carter Tech became a rising name in the tech industry, securing million-dollar deals, hiring some of the brightest minds, and positioning itself as a game changer. He had it all: money, influence, and the respect of his peers. Until the fall. The betrayal came from within. Nathan's most trusted business partner, his childhood best friend Adam, had been embezzling money from the company for years. By the time Nathan found out, it was too late. Investors pulled out, clients left, lawsuits piled up. In less than 6 months, Carter Tech crumbled into dust. The headlines were brutal. From millionaire to bankrupt, the rise and fall of Nathan Carter. Carter Tech scandal. Can Nathan recover? Greed, betrayal, and the end of an empire. Nathan lost everything: his company, his home, his reputation. But the worst part wasn't the failure itself. It was the silence. The phone calls stopped. The invitations disappeared. The people who once cheered for him now whispered about him. And Adam. He was nowhere to be found. One night, Nathan found himself standing at the edge of a bridge, staring down at the rushing water below. Maybe it's better this way, he thought. But then, through the noise of his own despair, he heard a voice. His father's voice. "You don't get to choose where you start, but you damn well get to choose where you finish." Nathan stepped back. This wasn't how his story was going to end. Chapter 2. Rock bottom isn't the end, it's the beginning. Nathan had no money, no job, and no home. He crashed on an old friend's couch, living off instant noodles and borrowed time. The world had moved on, but he hadn't. One day, while walking through the city, he passed a construction site. He stopped, watching the workers, the sound of drills and hammers filling the air. He was reminded of his father, of the man who never complained, never quit, never backed down. Nathan clenched his fists. He had 2 choices. 1, stay down, drown in self-pity. 2, start again, from nothing. He chose the latter. With his last few dollars, he bought a notebook and wrote 3 things. 1, I will rebuild. 2, I will rise again. 3, I will become unbreakable. But how? Where do you start when you've lost everything? The answer came in the most unexpected way. Chapter 3. The first brick desperation makes a man humble. Nathan walked into a small coffee shop one morning, hoping for a cheap meal. The owner, an elderly man named Jacob, noticed his tired eyes. "You look like you've been fighting the world," Jacob said. Nathan chuckled bitterly. "And losing?" Jacob handed him a coffee. "Maybe, but the fight isn't over, is it?" Something about Jacob's words stuck with him. The old man had no idea who Nathan was. He didn't care about the headlines or the scandals. He just saw a man at rock bottom. That same day, Nathan found an old laptop in a pawn shop. It barely worked, but it was enough. If he couldn't build Carter Tech, he'd build something else. He spent 18 hours a day teaching himself everything he could: new coding languages, new business strategies, new skills. He reached out to every contact who hadn't abandoned him. Most ignored him. Some laughed, a few listened. But that was all he needed. One yes can change everything. One night he got an email. A small company was looking for a consultant. The pay was terrible. The project was small, but it was a start. Nathan took it. That one project turned into 2, then 5, then 10. He wasn't just rebuilding a business, he was rebuilding himself. Chapter 4: The Comeback. No one saw coming. For 2 years, Nathan worked in silence, no media, no publicity, just raw, relentless effort. He didn't just want to build a new company, he wanted to build a movement, a company that stood for resilience, integrity, and second chances. And then the world noticed. A tech magazine ran a story, Nathan Carter's unbelievable comeback, the man who refused to stay down. Investors started calling again. But this time, Nathan was smarter. He didn't chase money, he chased vision. He built his new company, Phoenix Innovations, on the foundation of everything he had learned. 5 years after losing everything, Phoenix Innovations became a billion-dollar company. The same people who doubted him, they were now lining up to work with him. And Adam? Nathan never heard from him again. But one day, he got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just 3 words written in shaky handwriting, "I'm sorry." Nathan folded the letter and put it in a drawer. The past didn't define him anymore. Chapter 5: The Lesson That Changes Everything. One evening, standing in his new office, overlooking the city skyline, Nathan thought about that night on the bridge. What if he had given up? What if he had let failure define him? The thought sent shivers down his spine. He pulled out his old notebook, the one he had written in when he had nothing. "I will rebuild. I will rise again. I will become unbreakable." He had kept his promise. Nathan Carter's story became legendary, not just because he built a billion-dollar company, but because he proved a simple truth. Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning. Your rock bottom can be your greatest gift if you refuse to stay there. You don't get to choose where you start, but you damn well get to choose where you finish. And you? What will you choose? This is your wake-up call. Your struggles are not the end. They are the training ground for your comeback. Keep fighting, keep building, become unbreakable.